Boxing truth here. Danny Jacobs just turned its back on PBC for HBO, signing a multi-fight deal with the network in a surprise move, considering he's a PBC fighter affiliated with Al Heyman. He signed with an actual promoter. So Danny Jacobs is making moves, some smart business decisions on his behalf, which could affect some other middleweights, especially middleweights that are trying to get the same goal as him, but are on the other side of the pond, or the other side of the street, dealing with Showtime and dealing with Heyman. You have to wonder how Jamal Charlo feels about this. Is he ever going to get that opportunity to fight the winner of Canelo Triple G for the rematch, which most likely will be next? Danny Jacobs was hoping to fight the winner of that fight. Because of the result, his plans now have to change, as it's going to take a little longer towards that goal. But it is an interesting deal. Eddie Hearn is invading the United States. He's making his move, looking to expand his promotional stable, looking to do shows in the United States, looking to test out the markets in the US, see if he can have the same success as he had in the UK. And with this new signing of Danny Jacobs, he's got a quality middleweight to be involved in some big fights. But now here's the interesting part. Can Danny Jacobs get to that lucrative showdown? Because he's going to be put in tough. He's going to be put in with some real competition. There's no Heyman protection program now, which he's been involved in for a number of years before he actually stepped up to fight Peter Quillen. I'm just not sure how good Danny Jacobs is. Yes, he had a good fight with Golovkin, but it just makes you wonder, can he get to that type of mindset again? Could he be that focused, that determined, that motivated? Because he was very motivated to fight Golovkin. He fought outside himself, outside of his ability that night. He still lost a close but clear decision. So I'm wondering, is Danny Jacobs ever going to be that good again? Could he ever fight that well again? Now that that threat is no longer there. The reason why he fought so well is because of the threat that was in front of him, fighting a perceived monster in Gennady Golovkin. But now we know that Golovkin is not the monster as advertised. So Danny Jacobs could very well be HBO's next big bust. He could end up being the next Vernon Forrest of that network. A similar situation. Well, not too similar, but Forrest gets his big win over Mosley. The network signs him to a lucrative long-term deal, and he ends up getting KO'd within 3 rounds in his first fight of the deal against Ricardo Mayorga. Loses the rematch, and you didn't see Vernon Forrest in HBO again until he fought a washed Ike Corte many years down the line. So it's a risky move by HBO. They're putting a lot of stock into Danny Jacobs. They believe in him. He does have a great story. He is a very likable guy. There's a lot to like about him, but I just don't know how good he is. I don't think he's that good. So his first opponent, he's going to fight Luis Arias in November. He's an undefeated guy in his prime, coming off of a good win. This is the thing about signing HBO contracts. There's no protection program. They're going to put you in some real fights, some quality competition. They're going to put you in there with the hungry contenders. I mean, look who Linares had to fight for his first main event on HBO. He had to fight a young, hungry, former Olympic champion in Luke Campbell for his first main event headliner of his career on HBO, and he barely escapes with a split decision win. So Danny Jacobs has to show how good he is. And this is his first step, fighting a young, hungry contender, an undefeated guy that wants what he wants. He wants the big money fights, the glamour, the glory. And then, if he gets past that test, it's only going to get tougher. He's going to have to fight a top contender, a big puncher. That's the thing. I mean, you have to be careful with Danny Jacobs. He's got that weak chin. Even though he's coming off the performance with Golovkin, he still has a lot to prove. Can he get back to that level? Can he fight that well again? Now he's going to be in some real fights. It's an interesting signing. It's A good power move by Matchroom. And hopefully Danny Jacobs can make it to that lucrative showdown with the winner of Canelo Triple G. I would like to see him fight Canelo Alvarez, but he has a long road ahead of him. He's got to win these fights ahead of him. He's got to beat some quality guys to get to his destination. And if he can arrive to that lucrative showdown next year, it will give Canelo the chance, who I believe will win the rematch, a chance to see who will make easier work of who. You'll see Canelo make easier work of Jacobs than Golovkin did. But that's even if Jacobs gets to that destination. He's got a lot of work to do, has to fight some hungry cats to do it. Some pretty good punchers that will test out that weak chin of his. But I'm rooting for Danny Jacobs to get to that point, so I can see Canelo Alvarez make easy work of him. And just wondering and see if Canelo's ever going to get his props. Even though he didn't even get his props in his first fight, if he beats Golovkin in the second fight, will he still get his props? Or will they cry robbery? Will he get his props if he knocks Danny Jacobs out, makes easier work of him compared to Golovkin? That remains to be seen, but congrats to Danny Jacobs. He's making some smart business decisions, getting away from PBC, who have failed to promote his story, have failed to really make him a bigger draw in New York. Let's see how Eddie Hearn does with him, who is an actual real promoter that can actually build a fighter's profile and get them the lucrative fights that they crave. We'll see how this new relationship pans out. Hopefully Danny Jacobs doesn't lose his first fight of his deal on HBO like Vernon Forrest did. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.